BYU. Those are two well-coached teams that are really going to get after us. So, again, we got to get back to work. We'll take tomorrow off and start getting ready for the opener.
How important was it for Braden to see some shots fall now and not maybe go into regular season with that just on his shoulder?
Well, I think he was the one guy that I thought he played well against BYU. He was the one guy that played that didn't score. So it was good to see. This is what Braden can do. He can really get it going. He's very streaky when he gets hot like that. And you saw it. It's almost like there's nobody else on the floor but him. And sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes it's not. But he really took the lid off the basket. Price obviously had it going as well. But between the two of them, they make 10 threes. Last week it was Rink and Connor that made 12 threes combined. And yeah, that's the beauty of Braden Frager. He's athletic. I would have loved to see him go in there with two hands on the one. He got going to the rim there in the second half. But overall, this was a very important game for Braden. To see that thing go in the hoop and hopefully be a confidence builder for him heading into the opener.
How important was it to see Jamarcus hit 2 threes and kind of get some confidence?
Yeah, same thing. And again, you shoot it well in practice. It doesn't matter, unless you knock them in a game. So to see those two that were right there and didn't even touch the rim, was an important couple shots. I thought he had some good looks. I thought he forced a couple in the first half as well. But I think 15 is what we made, and I thought we missed some really good looks. So this team's capable of having nights like that. But to your original question, I can't remember which you asked it, because I'm getting old and foggy, but, when the ball's not going to the hoop, how did we respond? I thought we had good activity and competed through that stretch where the ball wasn't going in.
You mentioned Rink, you wanted to give him limited minutes. How's his conditioning doing now that he's back and practice a lot, playing a couple games?
Yeah, he's doing great. His conditioning is where it needs to be. He's been full go. We have not had any restrictions on Rink for probably 6 weeks. So he's in a good spot. Like I said, Oogie was good to get him out there. He's been very limited in practice. We're going to need Oogie this year with his body and his size. Jared, I thought, finished off the game well. I didn't like how he played early with the turnovers, but, we're going to need that in our front line. I thought Leo played well. You can see how well he moves. We put him in as a first sub on the front line in the second half, and I thought he gave us really good minutes out there.
How do you utilize this next week to figure out these last rotation stuff, line of stuff before the season opens?
Yeah, great question, Justin. The one thing about this team is it can be somebody different every night. And again, Rink I think went for 8 points in his 13 minutes. But this could be Oogie had a day in practice last week. He looked like Rink in the BYU game where he hit 7 threes. So it could be anybody's night. And our guys have to be okay with that. You may not play as much on certain nights, and we've talked a lot about that. And I think this team is very selfless and very unselfish. So if we can continue with that throughout this season, we have a chance. If we don't, we don't.
Narrow down that lead initiator guard spot.
Well, I think Jamarcus has been great with it. Kendall, I thought, like I said, gave us good minutes. Sam and Kale both can initiate for us, and then you got Rink, and BK brought the ball down the floor quite a bit tonight as well. So, again, I know I talked early about being, kind of point guard by committee, and we've got a lot of guys that can initiate for us.